This time, we'll call this evening's planning commission for the city of Greer to order. Let the record reflect today's date is February 23rd, 2026, and the time is 6:30. Quorum is present. If there's anyone present on the commission who would need to disqualify themselves from the cases being reviewed this evening, please state your name and case for the record and complete a recusal form from staff. Don't believe we have anybody, so. All right, at this point, we will receive the minutes from our last meeting, which is December 15th, 2025. Trust everyone had an opportunity to review.
Move to approve.
We have a motion for
Second.
approval. And a second.
Ms. Jones?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Mr. Toma?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
Yes.
Ms. Mahaffey?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. All right, this time, we will elect planning commission chair and vice chair for 2026. Nominations for the position of chair.
I nominate Walden Jones.
I second.
Do we want to do one at a time or both of them?
One at a time, please. Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Toma?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
Yes.
Ms. Mahaffey?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Congratulations.
All right, are there any nominations for position of vice chair? Will Lavender.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Beat me to it.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Toma?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
I reckon.
Ms. Mahaffey?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, all right. This time, we'll move into the public forum of the meeting. At this time, any member of the public who wishes to speak about an item of concern that's not on tonight's agenda may do so now. For those items that are on the agenda, we will have the opportunity for public comment later in this evening with the items on the agenda. If you are here to speak for or against a matter on the agenda, we ask that you please hold off until that case is for hearing. All speakers should come to the podium and make their comments, beginning with their name, address. If you have not already signed in, please speak with staff to sign in. I think we have all agenda items, or?
Oh, sorry, those are the names of people here to sign in.
Okay.
Or to speak.
Associated with the agenda,
Hearing.
Oh, yes, well,
hearing.
That's
I
public hearing.
believe that everyone is here for,
They're all public. It's public hearing.
All right, so these are public hearings, and they're not part of the agenda. I guess, do we call them forward at this point?
Just ask if anyone's here to speak on an
Right.
item that is not on the agenda.
Is anybody here wishing to speak on an item that's not on tonight's agenda? Okay. All right, so everyone signed up will be speaking on behalf of the agenda item. Okay, all right. Okay, so we'll, I guess now we go before the new business, and this will be the public hearing portion. At this time, we will open up the new business section of the meeting. This is where staff will make an official recommendation on each item. After staff has finished speaking, the public comment or public hearing will be open, and the applicant will be asked to step forward and speak about the proposal. Following the applicant's presentation, members of the public will be invited to speak for or against this matter. At this time, anyone wishing to speak for or against this request will have the opportunity to do so. All speakers should come to the podium to make their comments, beginning with their name and address. And we do have several people signed up. So we ask that you do keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. All right. It's also the commission's question or opportunity of the commission to ask the applicant questions, staff, or anyone in the audience. So after the commission has voted on your case, please contact planning and zoning staff at your convenience for the next steps moving forward. You may be excused after the meeting once your case is complete. All right, at this time, we will open up the new business meeting for RZ 26-01, a request to rezone 3 parcels on Pleasant Drive to traditional neighborhood. Staff.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the technical difficulties. We did hand out some presentation, so if you guys don't mind sharing, I apologize, we weren't able to make more copies. We will do our best to share all the information. So this is a rezoning request for 3 parcels on Pleasant Drive and South Buncombe Road. The existing zoning is suburban neighborhood, and the request is to rezone to traditional neighborhood. The first slide will show the aerial of the parcel, 3 parcels. The parcels are 26.78 acres in total. The existing zoning of the parcels, once again, is suburban neighborhood. They are adjacent to manufacturing and logistics, and to the north, there are other parcels that are zoned suburban neighborhood. The future land use in the area is mixed employment with traditional neighborhood to the north. And then we had a photo of existing conditions. Once again, the request is to rezone to traditional neighborhood. The intent is to build a subdivision. The surrounding zoning and land uses are mostly residential with manufacturing and logistics to the east. Staff recommends approval because it will serve as a transition between the residential to the north and the manufacturing and logistics to the south and east. That completes our presentation.
All right, thank you. Is the applicant present? Yep, you mind coming forward and, I guess, presenting your project?
Good evening, Michael Roth with TMC Development. Thank you guys for being here and serving. I serve on a board in Greenville County, so I know what it's like. But thank you guys. I'm local, grew up in Greenville, went to Riverside High School. We are here today for a subdivision on Pleasant Drive. We initially met with staff to pitch a site as a single-family development. We had a higher lot count than what you're seeing there. We were showing 85 lots. We've since kind of, in meeting with staff, we talked with them, and one of the things that they mentioned is they kind of supported this potential rezone. So that's why we're here today. The plan before you, which we've circulated, shows 72 lots. So it's a little bit, it's lighter than what we presented to staff previously. We are on the agenda for the Plan Advisory Committee with this design that you're seeing before you as well. We've submitted a traffic impact analysis, which I believe has been approved by SCDOT and the city of Greer, and that again showed a higher lot count, but obviously we've reduced our lot count that we're showing. So these will be very nice homes, single family, Greer water and sewer. They plan to be very nice, hardy board, siding, stone accents. There's a really beautiful pond on this property that we are desperately trying to save and not have an additional stormwater pond. Our engineer's a little bit mad at us about that. We can talk about that, but we really love that pond, and we want to bring that into the community to serve it as an amenity for these future residents. So I'm available for any questions. We also have our engineer here for any technical questions that you guys may have.
Okay. All right, I guess at this point, we'll probably just open up to public comment and maybe bring you forward after.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Denise Smith.
Ready to go to the podium?
Yes, ma'am. Go to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Denise Smith, and I live at 105 Pleasant Meadow Court. Okay. Pleasant Meadow Court, Pleasant Drive, where they're going to, it looks like that's the only entrance, is a very small street. They just had to widen that street last year. At the corner of Pleasant Meadow Drive and South Buncombe, there have been multiple accidents. So I thought that this street was not supposed to handle heavy trucks and things like that. I'm not sure, but I thought there was a sign up there before about that. Before they widened that road, and it hasn't been widened that much. So if that is the only entrance, what about the people that are living there? How are we going to get in and out? Because that street's a little bit busy already. Why is that the only entrance? Since it's a small street and it goes right in front of Pleasant Drive. I know I only have 2 minutes, but he answered the other question. That's my only thing. We actually need another entrance because otherwise we won't be able to get in and out of our homes. You have 72 homes. Our development is 28 homes. Do you see my point on your maps? So that's my question. Okay?
And you live at Pleasant Meadow?
105 Pleasant Meadow, yes.
Right across the entrance.
Right, I'd be right across the
Go for the
street.
entrance.
Thank you.
All right, James Stewart.
Hi, I'm James Stewart. I live at 19 Anna Rose Court. It's a street down from where Ms. Denise lives. And her point is well taken. We are a small community of 28 homes there. Right there on Pleasant Drive, where the entrance to the neighborhood would also be the egress for the neighborhood, for 85 homes, I take it is what they're asking for, is going to place a lot of traffic and a lot of pressure right on that general area. Can I ask why there's not an entrance on Buncombe Road that's been approved? Or has it been considered?
I'm going to respond to you real quick. Most of what y'all are asking is going to be received, and the applicant's listening and the engineers here listening. These aren't questions that we're likely going to be able to answer for you.
Okay.
So they're going to have an opportunity to come back up and speak on their behalf. So, and I'm making some notes, we're all making notes up here. So we'll bring your questions. Don't expect a full response from us. We're going to let the applicant come up and address most of your questions.
Okay, that's pretty much the only thing that I had. Thank you very much,
Okay?
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for clarifying that for them.
Debbie. Yes, all right, thank you.
I don't need to speak, I share the same concern.
Okay. Harder? Hader? Same thing, okay.
Margot Thomas?
Margaret Thomas?
Hello, my name is Margot, and I live at 14 Anna Rose Court. And so all this is pretty new to me as far as hearing this. My mother and I purchased a home and moved in September. So I wasn't even aware at the time the new sports facility was going to be pretty close to the area. So we purposely chose the location of Pleasant Meadows because of the very remote and quiet feel that it had. Really, this wouldn't be something that I would be in support of because I like the fact that it's quiet and serene. And with the sports facility also coming in, it's going to create a lot of traffic and it's going to create a lot of traffic and just potential of reduced tranquility or being serene out there. And my question, I was curious as Mr. Roth was speaking about like the cost of the housing that's going to be out there. I'm not sure what the approximate appraisal would be on those or if they would be ranging what their price range would be. I went out on a limb and paid almost $500,000 for my house. And so what I do not want is something that looks considerably different. So, and we all have different ideas of what nice is. So I would like some specifics on what the price ranges would be. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jan Purvis? Thank you. Carl Purvis?
Hi, my name is Carl Purvis, and I live at 18 Anna Rose Court. Not only the traffic that's going to be put with only an ingress and egress onto that one street, which is already heavily trafficked, but there's going to be additional pathways, like on Wayman Drive, that's going to put additional traffic through, which will be a shortcut to 14. Now, Wayman Drive is barely passable as it is. On the northwest end of Wayman Drive, 2 cars cannot pass safely. It is sunken, it is broken. So the additional traffic that's going to be put on Wayman is going to be a heavy concern to what happens to this subdivision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's everyone that has signed up. Is there anyone else in the crowd this evening to speak for or against this docket item? Okay. All right. All right, so at this point, we will close the public hearing for RZ 26-01. All right, so we've heard from the applicant. We've also heard from some opposition in the crowd. Questions, comments? Do we want to bring the applicant back? Maybe
Yeah, I
possibly
think so.
Mr. Tumblin, engineer, questions?
Unless Heather has anything to add to this.
Staff or the applicant first?
Probably the applicant, I guess, at this point. I mean, unless y'all have specific questions for staff.
I'm gonna let Heather run with this. What, do you have something to add before the applicant comes back and talks?
I do not. We do have a requirement for a second emergency access when it is 30 units or more, which they do show on their current plan
Yeah.
onto South Buncombe.
It's just a fire gate.
It's a fire gate, correct?
All right. Mr. Roth? Obviously, there's some questions, comments you heard from the staff, or from the crowd, I guess, one of them being the entrance, the single entrance, one of them
Sure, yeah, I'm happy to
materials. I mean, that's nothing from a planning standpoint that we weigh in on.
certainly. So alluded to some of it earlier, we've completed a traffic study that's been accepted and approved by DOT and Greer.
Recommendation associated with that traffic study?
There was no recommendations, and both DOT and Greer are on board with that. And I'm happy if Heather wants to confirm that. As it relates to a second entrance, this is somewhat early stages. We've looked at it. We're showing the secondary emergency access entrance off of Buncombe. When we look at neighborhoods like this, we try to think about as if we would live here. And in fact, the neighborhood across of Pleasant Drive, Pleasant Meadows, where most of the residents you're hearing from, that I walked that neighborhood when we first put this land under contract because I thought it was really nice and really well done. And so I think this neighborhood would be very comparable. But as it relates to, the traffic, Buncombe is a more trafficked road. And so I think we would generally like to stay off of that, at least from an entrance. We're happy to look at it. This is early stages, but I think, the plan we presented is, in compliant with Greer and again, adheres to the traffic study. I would like to address Margot's comments about the price ranges. This is a project that homes won't be selling for 18 to 24 months from today, so it's obviously very hard to predict, but I would state that those homes would be very comparable. Obviously, the lot sizes are very similar to what's across the street. I would guess that if these homes were to sell today, they would be at the 500 to 550 plus range. I think that hits most of the comments, and I'm here if you have other questions.
Where was Wayman Drive?
Wayman is north, the intersection is northeast of your entrance.
I don't see no one.
And I'm looking, and Wayman is a partial, and I'll have
That's it.
Heather or Andy, one you might be able to answer, is Wayman mostly a county road? Yeah, I think it's all county except for maybe at the intersection of Pleasant Drive. There's some that's in the city. So really, the intersection of Wayman Road and Pleasant Drive is in the city, but the conditions further north on Wayman, as it pertains to a possible impassable area, for 2 cars, that's a county concern, which I would recommend going to the county to talking about that, because those aren't roads that are maintained by the city of Greer, nor the state, nor DOT. So that's, from our perspective and the applicant's perspective, out of our control. But needless to say, like, loud voices get heard. So if you have a complaint about Wayman Drive, I'd go to Greenville County and complain about it with Roads and Bridges and Greenville Planning.
All right. Comments, questions, discussion?
What was the finding from the traffic study? Was there a recommendation?
Yeah, no recommendations.
No improvements, no turn lanes.
No improvements.
No improvements to
Yeah, we
Pleasant Drive at
studied,
all.
I think it was 3 or 4 intersections.
And Buncombe, and I'm sure your engineer can attest, Buncombe Drive has got a lot more going on, and to align a new intersection on Buncombe Drive was probably going to be fairly difficult.
I think
And-
that
and
was-
fairly difficult to not only to engineer, but to get the state to approve it.
Yeah, you've got that, the road that comes at an angle.
Yeah.
And then you obviously need the distance between new intersections. So that, again, that kind of goes with what we were thinking about, staying away from Buncombe and driving most of the traffic. Again, with 72 homes, we want, these residents are going to want something that's quiet and serene and relaxing. And so I think that was the intent as well.
This was reduced from a higher density before.
Yeah, that's right. The plan that we showed Greer at first was 85 lots. The traffic study that we submitted was 89 lots. And here we are at 72. So there's a lot that's gone from that. So, but ultimately, in talking with some of our builder partners that are ultimately going to be, the ones building these homes, we wanted to go to a little bit larger lot than what we initially showed to the city in our first meeting.
Are y'all potentially taking multiple building partners or pre-qualified build, or are you going to put these on the market and let any builder pick up?
No, we're talking with 1 or 2 right now. So this would not be multiple builders.
You'll control.
We would
you control with restrictions and covenants. The
Yes.
quality of the product. That goes
Yes,
in
that's
the neighborhood?
right. Yeah, there would be CCRs.
Okay.
We've done a handful of neighborhoods like this, and yeah, there would be CCRs to maintain it, things like that. So all the common space would be maintained by the HOA. That would be professionally run.
So the existing zoning is suburban neighborhood. And you can do, without clustered, you could be at 4 units per acre. So by right, you could be up to 100 on this.
That's right.
So what's the advantage to?
Yeah, that's a good question. Initially our lot plan, our original lot design was showing 85 lots. They were all, 50 footers, I think, 53 footers or something like that. And the SN calls for 2 varying lot sizes. Originally, we weren't planning to do that, and it has some larger side setbacks. So we were not trying to design not that we were trying to avoid a cluster, but we wanted to do generally a 50-foot lot product with, side setbacks at 5 feet. And as we've gotten into it, obviously now we're showing more of two different lot products. One's 55 and one's about 75. And so it just gives us a little more flexibility. I'm not saying the 72 lot's a done deal. We think it is. That's the design we're moving forward. If you were to approve this today or recommend approval today, we would be going to council. We've already put a lot of money and time into this 72 lot design. So it just gives us a little more flexibility by giving us that TN zoning.
It's not a density thing, it's a
Yeah,
setback.
not a density item at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Are the builders you are considering local,
National and regional.
national, regional? Okay.
further discussion? Comments, questions,
Is that-
motion?
I had a general question. It was more for staff rather than for the applicant, but
Thank you.
thank you. Mixed employment is the future use for this. And so then, right now, it's obviously suburban neighborhood. Traditional neighborhood takes it up a notch, brings it a little bit closer towards medium density, which would be more kind of in line with an approved use for mixed employment, because you could do multifamily.
You could.
Or something denser, or something more as a buffer or transition product between the manufacturing and then the residential neighborhood. So I was curious just what the thought process.
The traditional neighborhood lot sizes play well with the other developments in the area, and even though it's not a denser development, it still is a good transition. They will have a healthy 50-foot buffer to the manufacturing and logistics to the south and east, so it'll be a solid transition point.
Okay. Yeah, it was more of kind of like a,
But, you know, if that property developed as a manufacturing and logistics, if that crept up, you would not have that nice transition.
Right.
It would be much more abrupt, you know, at the
You have
roads.
potentially
So,
trucks pulling out on Pleasant Drive.
yeah, it would be a very different feeling.
Yeah.
So this really softens that.
yep,
Good question.
that was, yeah, it was just
Okay.
trying to understand the recommendation approval, or what the thought process was, because obviously y'all have been talking about it a lot longer than
Yeah, of
we've been,
course.
just for these couple moments.
All right,
I have no further questions.
comments, questions, motions?
Yeah, this is a rezone. Yeah, motion to rezone. I'll move to rezone.
We have a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a second.
Oh, second.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Toma?
Yes.
Mr. Lavender?
Yes.
Ms. Mahaffey?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes, motion passes. Contact planning staff for next steps. All right. That's the last agenda item, so y'all are more than welcome to stay, or y'all can leave, or.
Thank you. We'll give them a little leeway here. I was going to say, take the applicant out into the hallway.
Yeah.
No questions answered.
Yeah, drag them out behind a bush and find out what you really want to know.
Really good alignment.
You
It
don't-
doesn't,
you don't
there's only
want it
one
to
alignment.
align.
I'm actually surprised they didn't make them do left-hand turn lane. Isn't that four stops?
It's not, there's not a stop sign over here.
It's just a stop sign there.
Yeah,
Figure
it's
it out,
just a
'cause I feel
crosswalk.
like you could just do this development by right, but
Pleasant and Subaru.
I'm looking at it and I'm not,
Yeah, there's
I'm
no
not
stop sign on,
seeing-
there's no stop sign on South Pond.
That's where First Pres used to sit right there behind that.
Yeah.
the difference is their side yard setback. That's the only thing that's holding them back. It goes from a 10 to a 5.
All right, do y'all mind maybe going outside so we can finish? Yep.
Bit of
Thank you.
creative.
Thank you.
I think you could make this work without a rezone at their density.
Yeah, that's another reason I want to rezone.
Thank you very much. That's what
Yep, yep.
Part of me is
Thank you.
wondering, why wouldn't you just do medium density, and then there's an opportunity for something even more dense, which would actually be more of a transitional product.
$100,000. Just the thought of that makes me.
All right, we will now go into the rules of procedure. The staff will give us some training on new rules of procedure. After the presentation, the board will have the opportunity to vote on the rules of procedure. We may vote to approve, approve with amendments, deny, or continue to vote to a date certain. At this time, I will entertain a motion to, I guess you're going to present the motions, rules now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll present first.
All right, and your name?
Hi, y'all. I'm Alex Cahill. I am the Planning and Development Director.
You live here all day.
All day, every day.
Name and address for the record, please.
Give me the really exciting things to present on. So thanks for making time tonight. I'm actually not going to go through every slide in this presentation or the entire rules of procedure. I know I can tell you're really hurt. Mainly because Delora probably reached out to all of you. Lynn, I don't know if we have you on that list yet, but we'll make sure we get you on it if we haven't yet. There's a training coming April 7th. If everybody's able to attend, that'd be great, from 4 to 5:30 p.m. MASC, the Municipal Association of South Carolina, does a phenomenal training on parliamentary procedure. I know, really fun term, a lot of fun here tonight too. But that training is really robust, so we really encourage you to attend. Because of that, we're going to kind of truncate it tonight. I will be honest, I'm not as an exciting presenter as the guy that's going to present on that night. So where is this coming from? State law actually requires y'all to have adopted rules of procedure. You know, the new guy comes in and he says, where are rules of procedure? I know they're not fun, but we need to have them. And really the point of these is to help protect both y'all and the city. So, you know, if we get a case maybe 1% of the time that's really contested, really stressful, you have a lot of people upset. If we're doing things within the confines of the parliamentary rules of procedure, we're going to be able to protect ourselves in the city. We're going to make sure that it is transparent and we're doing due diligence with the community. So that's the reason that you have rules of procedure. It's also helpful for staff, say the chair gets confused or any of you get confused about something that arises. It's nice to have something to reference and say, hey, this is what the rules say. The Board of Zoning Appeals did adopt theirs I guess that was earlier this month. So we were going through with each board and adopting them. They are quite large and long, and that's really because we want to make sure we capture every situation possible, hoping that we don't need most of it most of the time, but it is there in case we do. So with that, I'm just going to cover a few quick things that are in these rules of procedure. First is the order of business, and definitely open to feedback on all this because y'all are the ones that have to approve it. We debated whether or not to include public comment, public hearings, and public forums. The three of them can be a little confusing. One of them, public hearings, are required by state law for certain case types. The public comment and public forum aren't actually state law requirements, but we feel an opportunity for the community to share concerns is important. So the way we do that is kind of up to y'all. The way we structured it, as you kind of started tonight, was a call to order and a determination of quorum, approval of minutes from the last meeting, and then a public forum, just as the chair stated, to share on anything that's not on the agenda. And then a public hearing item, so that's required by state law. And then the last one is a public comment. So say it's a preliminary plat, it doesn't have a public hearing. Do we want to allow comment on that? That's up to y'all if you want that. That's a revision I'd ask you to consider and look at. Staff updates, which you will get after I'm done talking tonight, and then adjournment. So call to order quorum, y'all probably know 4 is quorum. If there is no quorum, what you should do is you should recess the meeting for 15 minutes, wait. If we still don't have it, then we would dismiss and continue the items to a date certain. With that, I will say we are working on establishing alternates as a possibility. That way quorum's not an issue in the future. I know this board doesn't struggle with it as much, but some of our other boards do.
We should get paid for that.
Agreed. Where I come from, people do. They get stipend. And that's something we should explore as well. Approval of minutes. So technically you should vote on everything unless you're recusing yourself for an ethical or financial situation. So say you don't attend the last meeting. I'll say Lynn handled this perfectly. She wasn't here for the last meeting, but she took the time to read the minutes and voted on them. You shouldn't recuse yourself because you weren't at the meeting. You are responsible for looking at and reviewing the materials from before. Everything in your work is approved as a positive or as an affirmative. That is because you are seeking a change of some sort. Very rarely will you propose a motion or an amendment or something as a negative. And we'll get to that later on. Public forum, we already talked about, but really it's anything that's not on the agenda, and that's kind of up to y'all if you want to structure that. Do you want time at the beginning of the meeting for people to just share general planning concerns? It's kind of up to you. There really shouldn't be any response or engagement. I think Will did a great job tonight. He said we're not going to answer your questions, but we're going to answer them in the purview once we get to the applicant. I think it's important to note that these are not part of the official record. In South Carolina, public forum is just a comment. It's not going to be part of the public record, unless somebody watches the recording, of course. So tonight you had a public hearing. You're probably pretty familiar with that, but I think at least one of these might be a bit of a change for y'all, so I apologize. But based on what other cities are doing and mask best practices, we want to do what the chair did, which was talk about what the case is, introduce it. Then staff, like Heather did, gave a presentation, and then the next step is opening the public hearing. So the applicant should always be presenting within the confines of a public hearing. I know it's probably a little bit of a change, but it is kind of standardized across cities and how they do that. Then, as y'all did tonight, you have the public hearing speakers. As the chair did, you close the public hearing, and then you can ask the applicant and staff questions, just as you did. So I think the only change is really opening the public hearing and then having the applicant present.
So when we're doing that, though, is that, are we doing a case by case? So today we had one case, so it's nice and simple, but say you have 3 or 4, do we do it where if you're trying to lump all of that public forum into one thing, then all cases get presented, all grievances are shared, and then we're gonna go back through the whole thing and one by one
Yeah.
do it in the, okay.
So and I don't think we've talked about this yet, have we? We have completely restructured it so it's one case at a time. So you're opening the public hearing for each case. Instead of the dual presentations you were doing, like I
Right.
think you had, am I saying that right? You had like business and then a public hearing and that.
Public hearing and then new business.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to open up the public hearing prior to the presentation.
Yes.
Well,
After staff, before the applicant.
But what we're saying is that we're going through one case at a time.
One at a
from
time.
Start to beginning.
Exactly.
And that group can
And
get
then
up
they can all
and leave.
leave.
And then we're gonna open up
Yes.
we're gonna introduce the next
Okay.
case, and staff presents the next case.
And this starts
we
back
open
over.
Public hearing on the next
Spot on,
subdivision,
yep.
on
Yes,
the next
please.
rezoning.
Yes, please.
So we actually check off an entire thing
Yes,
before we open another hearing for anything else.
yes.
Which I do like. It was confusing
Yeah,
the
it
way we
was-
did it in December or November
No.
or both.
It was confusing
We
to me
started
too.
kind of this in December,
Yeah,
right?
we had a
You slowly
blend of something
transitioned.
in November.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that meeting, but.
and
Yeah,
it's
sorry, I bear the brunt of the
Heather,
blame
that'd
for
be-
that. I quickly typed up the script and
He's
it was a rushed work.
Yes, how you framed it is perfect. The entire case from start to finish.
That is preferred, please.
All right.
Public comment, so again, something y'all should think about and can decide how you want to do. If you want something at the beginning of the meeting for somebody to comment on something, or if you want to allow people to comment on preliminary plats or other things like that that are not public hearings, that's really up to y'all. I don't know if I think we all have different preferences, so we really want to keep it up to y'all. But if you have a public forum at the beginning, that could capture the preliminary plats. Or you could build that into the preliminary plat as part of the same sequence of events. It's kind of up to y'all to think about.
Typically, we do that towards the end, though, and that would just be as our own thing.
Public comment,
Well,
the preliminary plats.
yes.
Yeah,
So we would be,
Been a while though.
right, but we would be moving that to the beginning and then kind of offering it up as public knowledge and debate as part of the public forum.
you would be structuring it just like a public hearing. So you have a preliminary plat, you do the same thing. Instead of opening a public hearing, you solicit public comment.
The property's not posted,
All right.
so
they
the
would-
chances of somebody being up here
Slim to none.
6 months after they've already spoke on
Slim to
against it or
none.
whatever.
It
yeah.
seems more like it's an act of goodwill on the part of the municipality to do these things, but at the same time, your point is exactly true. How would anybody know? So you can, on one hand, say, well, you were given the opportunity, but the other one is that you were never notified, so.
And at that point, I mean, it's not something they would sign up for or not? Is it something they would sign up for in advance? if they
I mean, that's
came?
up to y'all.
I mean, the
Potentially.
first time they're gonna see it, it's gonna be flashed up on the screen right there. Unless
That's
they-
true.
Unless they
Right.
really, I guess.
I mean, and it can be in the order if, if we've opened the staff presentation, it could be, is there anyone here that would like to speak
On any item.
about?
Any- yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're in, but we got to be in the new business, right? So
Yeah.
we've got a preliminary plat on the board. We've already had the staff presentation. I mean,
All it is really asking a question to the audience.
Do you have any
Is there anybody
comments?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think
I see
we
no
keep
harm
it,
in that.
I think what you said was a good will of faith or whatever.
Do we have
and,
any public comments on this item?
Right.
If someone raises their hand, then they're more than welcome to come speak.
Yep.
But we're talking about a 1% chance probably.
Right. And you get a little bit more transparency out of the whole
No.
deal, so,
I say
okay,
just
sure,
keep
why
it.
not?
Leave it on there.
Well, it also keeps that same cadence. You're kind of used to it from the
Yeah,
other types
I
of
think-
cases.
Yep.
Lynn, I know you're new to all this, but.
I'm just listening and
All right.
observing.
All right, adjournment. So there's been a lot of debate, and I know sometimes we see other organizations do something, but we're going to do it the way that MASC recommends, which is a motion's not needed to adjourn the meeting. I don't think y'all have been doing that, so I don't know if that's a.
Yes, we have.
Yeah,
You
we-
have? Okay.
That's part of the
We
timer.
motion, we don't second, we don't vote.
Okay.
The motion ends the meeting.
So under Robert's Rules and MASC guidance, a motion's not needed on the following circumstances. If you completed your business, you can just do a unanimous consent or general consent. Or if you had an adjourned time, if you say you're like, we're stopping at 7:30 and 7:30 shows up, you don't have to motion. Or if there is an emergency, such as a fire, a hurricane, you don't have to motion. When a motion is necessary is when none of the three elements I just listed can be met. And if that happens, staff will remind you, hey, you need a motion to close the meeting.
So how do we end the meeting?
You can say, and I think we have it in this,
Is there any
I think it's in your script, but did we put it in there? Yes.
I ain't got to that page yet.
Good job, y'all.
Well, you usually do say it though at the end. Is there, do I
If
have a
you'll go-
motion to
If you'll go
adjourn?
ahead and ask it, we can get out of here.
Yeah?
He just said that motion to adjourn and.
Well, so I mean, if Walden asks, is there any further business and
Nobody.
nobody speaks,
Then he
that's
says
it?
You're done.
Or,
And to
and can
adjourn.
someone even follow up with no further business and that's
Yep.
it?
Yep.
Just to conclude it and confirm it?
Then you're done. Move
We
on.
don't need to do it, but we could do it if we wanted to.
You could. Yeah.
Instead of me motioning to adjourn, I'm gonna say in response to Walden, no further
No
business.
further business.
There you go. Heather's going to note the time. We're going to go home.
I know my script.
I think the big one is the chair's role. So, obviously the chair is responsible for presiding over the meeting, ensuring you conduct your business in an orderly, fair, and efficient manner. You call the meeting to order. You will follow adopted agenda and rules and procedures once we have them, with staff there to support you as your parliamentarian. The chair is there to recognize speakers, facilitate discussion among commission members, and help keep deliberations focused on relevant issues. You're also there to ensure that public hearings are conducted properly and that all viewpoints are heard respectfully, and that decisions are made based on established policies and regulations. In addition, again, hopefully not something you have to use all the time, but say we have something really raucous, you rule on points of privilege. That is not a motion. That is a chair's decision. That's part of what y'all just voted for the chair for. So if there's a point of privilege or a procedural question asked to maintain decorum, then the chair rules on that. And I'll give some examples of this in a second. So business is always brought before the commission, as y'all know, by motions. It's the formal procedure for taking action. And in South Carolina, along with Robert's Rules and MASC guidance, all motions should be stated in the affirmative. Recommendations to the Greer City Council are recommendations are approval, and then obviously the council has the final say. To adopt a recommendation, a majority of members present shall vote in the affirmative, and motions that fail to carry to go to the council as a recommendation of approval or a tie become a denial. Motions that are defeated due to a tie will go to, this is the change. Motions that are defeated due to a tie will go to a council with no recommendation. It's a little bit of a change. A tie is not a denial in South Carolina. It is a little different. I will tell you that, coming from the north. A tie is a recommendation of denial. Here, MASC suggests it is no recommendation at all. The commission can agree on what it should be. So it's a little
proceeds.
confusing. What?
But it proceeds.
But it proceeds, yep. Other thing is the chair should always restate the motion before calling for the vote. That's to make sure it's clear, that we know what we're voting on. And then the chair does have authority to clarify a motion if it's confusing. If Mr. Thomas says something really out there, not going to happen, but if he did, you have a chance to clarify that. There's a lot of other stuff about seconding a motion and procedures. I'm going to let the masked gentleman talk about that because he does a really good job. I think Heather and Andy can attest to that. We went through it, and it is as fun as parliamentary training can be. So you'll get more of that in April. But it is good to remember there's a few types of motions. The main motion is what y'all are usually voting on, right? It's what you're used to hearing, motion to approve rezoning RZ 2601. The motions there have a second for a reason. A second is to ensure that at least one other person wants to discuss the item. If a second is not provided, then you don't discuss the item and you move on. Now, it's not dead forever, it's dead until somebody brings it up again. What I've learned in most cases, it's not usually intentional. Somebody just forgot to second, and that's staff's job to say, hey, you got to make sure you second that, which I think we had happen the other night at a meeting, so. We're not going to cover all the subsidiary motions because there's a lot of them, and the mask guy does a great job, but it is in here for your resources. Points of order. I think the biggest thing, again, this is if the meeting gets out of hand or gets a little raucous or there's some really spirited debate between the planning commissioners that maybe starts to go a little askew. One of the things that anybody can do at any time is use a point of order. And a point of order is really to bring to the group's attention that's one of the rules in your adopted rules of procedure is being violated. And that's not something you need to be recognized to say. You can say point of order, whatever the instance is. You start with that and then the chair rules on it. I agree, we need to get back to business, and you move on. Again, hopefully it's not something that happens, but 1% of the time it could, so we just want to be prepared. So biggest thing, I think I heard you all do it right tonight, so kudos to you. Your votes should be yes or aye, or no or nay. I know sometimes people say approve or disapprove, and that can create double negatives. It can create lack of transparency. If you came from another board, you might be used to saying approve or deny. So always say yes or aye or no or nay. Approve or deny is not a proper vote.
For the record, reckon is not, right?
What isn't?
He reckoned something.
I reckon. Technically, I said I first.
Reckon it is.
Otherwise, we can vote for a new VP.
It doesn't count. I'm gonna vote it down next time for.
I think we'll keep
in the
you.
minutes.
No, we're not.
So biggest change, and this is actually coming from Councilmember Arrowwood brought up a good point. Might have been a couple of years ago already, but resurfaced one of my first weeks here. Is that state law says that if Planning Commission doesn't take action, something is automatically approved. So what does taking action mean? And what does approve mean? Does that mean the Planning Commission approved it and it doesn't go to council? Does it mean you approved it and recommended it goes to council? It's very confusing. State law is not clear. It hasn't been updated since 1994. So what we are doing is we are putting in the rules of procedure a definition of what taking action means. And taking action means some pretty clear things under these rules of procedure, should you so choose to adopt them. You can approve the item in front of you. You can deny the item in front of you. You can continue it to a date certain. So say you're not ready to vote on it, you want to continue it to the March 17th meeting. We would consider that taking an action.
It's not the same as tabling?
Tabling, we are going to take off the table and not something you're able to do.
I'm gonna have a hard time remembering that.
I know,
Tabling is an action without action.
that's exactly right.
Action with no intent.
Yes,
So the idea here is to provide an action with an intent.
that's exactly right. I think, can we just switch? Can you, you're doing great.
He's been in class.
Hey, I've already motioned to pay us, so.
Yeah.
So on here though, as the
Nobody's
four things
seconding
that are
that.
listed, it's approve, deny, continue to a certain date, and then remand. But deny, I thought we're supposed to be doing everything in the affirmative, right? So we wouldn't actually make
Motion to.
It's a
you
recommendation,
want to make a motion to deny, you would say, I would like to make a motion to approve,
correct.
and then.
And that motion fails
And
too.
then you would say, Well, then you would
Well,
vote
so
in the
we could-
negative
yeah,
once.
someone could make a motion to approve, and then we could all vote no. Or
Correct.
It could be an overwhelming vote.
Yep.
No.
And that's
Still- it's
a
still
recommendation
denial.
of denial. Yep.
Yeah.
Right, but we shouldn't be saying, and I'm trying to clarify, because
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were talking about last time, is that we should never say, I'd like to make
Motion to
a motion to deny. We
Right.
should always say motion to approve.
Correct.
The problem with that, and what's weird, it was gonna be out of the ordinary for us, is for the board to recognize maybe in a majority of
That we're having
a sense of
consensus.
denial,
Yeah.
and for someone to make a motion to approve with the intent to turn it down.
I was told that y'all would bring that up.
Yeah,
Without a discussion with, I think this needs to fail for a certain reason, and that's part of the business discussion. is
So
that
you can bring up a motion to approve and be against an item, right? That is actually very common.
Yes.
So you say, Mr. Tomo wants to bring it up, he motions to recommend approval, and then because he made the motion, he actually should, in theory, get to speak first on it and say, this is why I'm going to be voting against this tonight.
interesting, okay.
Okay.
So when you make that motion, if our intent is to approve it, and we're trying to like beat our record of getting out of here in 15 minutes or whatever, then we wouldn't do that.
Right.
But if you're making a motion for approval, but you actually intend to deny it, you have the opportunity as part of making the motion to
Speak.
give clarification of,
Before a quick second, so make a lengthy motion for approval, but.
Like
with
if you
my-
have-
My motion for approval comes with my intent is to, turn this down based on a previous discussion, whatever. You
or,
wanna go ahead?
yeah, or like this evening, you could say, I would like to make a motion to approve with the condition that they add a second entrance off of Buncombe. So
Absolutely.
you would, and then that's what we're making the motion on. So you could say, I would make a motion to approval with the intent to,
Which would be our recommendation to council.
Except we don't have conditional zoning.
Well, but I mean, we're starting to make engineering decisions, and we're not in that.
Right.
We're not.
And in other jurisdictions, you can do that, but we don't have conditional zoning.
we can't have a condition as part of our approval?
No.
It's all or nothing.
Yep.
I feel like we've done that.
Thought we've done that before.
They can provide written comments, correct?
It must have worked.
It really, and I say it's very case specific. This is a state road project. We can't tell
Oh,
an
sure.
engineer that he has to put an entrance on a state road because
Yeah.
that's something that the state could deny and it's out of our hands anyway.
I think we need to leave the staff that does that job to determine that, to do that, study that task.
And again, you guys were doing a rezoning tonight, so you were really deciding on.
We're not approving the site, he didn't have to bring a site plan to us.
No, he didn't.
You didn't have to bring the site plan.
Or
I know
declare a
it's
density
little
or any of that
confusing when
stuff.
They do, but like preliminary plat is really when you decide on the site plan, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even on preliminary plat, you can't do a conditional.
I mean, pictures goes a long way to help appease people that speak against it, you know.
There's no conditional, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I wish there was, but
Okay,
Well,
so-
it confuses things.
So the
because-
action of,
Because specifically with the UDO then too, I mean, there are the rules, so we're saying that you're now gonna follow these rules instead of these other rules, not these rules plus the ones that we just came up with on the spot.
but now with the UDO, you could, see, that's different, because
mind you, there's gonna be a motion after this to agree or disagree with what we're talking about right now. So, just so, I don't know who's keeping
With
notes.
oh, I'm keeping notes.
With conditions.
We still got conditions right now, because we haven't approved nothing
You just
yet.
deny it.
So with the UDO text amendment, you absolutely could. You could say, I move to approve the UDO text amendment with the following, revisions or conditions. Absolutely. You just can't do it for a rezoning.
Really?
So-
Yep, that's unique to this state.
So question, you said if he makes the motion, he's the first person to be called upon to vote,
No, he's the first person to speak.
to speak.
I was
Yes.
gonna suggest that though. If someone makes a motion, they probably should have the first vote.
That's up to
So
y'all.
that everyone understands why the motion's made. So if your intent
That's true.
is to turn down an agenda item and you make a motion to approve
But you state your,
and you speak, then I think you should get, and there's, I mean, historically, we just start with Judy and run down the end, right?
Yeah.
She's the
Whether-
first
whether
one.
Judy's awake or asleep, or, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Judy's like, huh? Approve, he said
something
approve,
y'all can
approve,
do.
aye.
Always.
Yeah, if y'all want
I
to do
think, I
that.
think that would help that no denial motion. Because I think you know, we don't know what everybody's thinking. Nobody's talking behind the scenes here,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
We're all,
Nor should they be.
yeah, I mean, we're all kind of here the first
No,
time.
but that
and-
is what the
we
business
need-
meeting is about, is
Yeah.
that once we get staff discussion and applicants, you know, discussion, and we hear from whoever we want to hear from, and then we put everybody aside, we put up our plexiglass, and we really talk amongst ourselves, but on the record.
Right.
And that's when, you know, I really don't think this meets, but for a rezoning, like we're looking at tonight, it's not really a, does it meet other than flow and mixed use, and is it a good transition? And staff says it is, and it's not really they didn't provide enough parking, or we don't like the house style that they
Yeah.
say they're gonna put in, it's not gonna be nice enough. You know, they provided something visually, which they didn't have to provide, so, yeah, sounds good.
Okay. I like this. So a change
I
that
think
whoever
we
makes
should-
the
I think we
motion
should be-
gets to vote first.
Yeah, I think.
And then we
should-
start back over with Judy.
And then we go back to Jeannie.
And then we go, it's like a rotary phone.
Right, I mean, or you've got a list, and I don't know if it has to be, I mean, does the chair have to vote last? Because we always do that. Is that a rule?
That's a privilege the chair usually likes to have, but
You can
It's up to you.
motion to ask, you know, we can take it off. It's up to you. I mean, I do think that whoever motions should vote first. I think that's a good suggestion. And then
Okay.
you can do it from one end to the other. You can do it alphabetically.
I think we should do it like how we've been doing it, and, I mean, that's just my personal
Or at least
preference.
have the person who initially makes the motion explain
and then
what
back.
their motion is.
Yes, I think so, and I think sometimes it's good, you don't have to, but sometimes it's good, okay, this is why I'm voting this way. Am I-
Right, you could
sometimes I
say,
think
I'd
it's
like to
good.
make a motion to approve, and then instead of,
Why? Just say why.
yeah, that would be on us, so that we're
Yeah.
not creating more work for staff.
That's right.
That it's-
Yeah,
That we just
absolutely.
have to be better at
Yeah.
speaking.
If you don't want to say why, then say.
Right, we are, this is, like you said, we are behind technically
could
the
be, I don't
plexiglass,
see
but
any
it's on
problems
record, we
with it.
should be saying what our intent
That's right.
is.
And I guess we just need to be more aware and, I'll use the word courteous, before we second that you've been given the floor.
Sure.
So once a motion is on the table,
Yes.
you've got the floor, and if you want to clarify, you know, do you have any comments about your motion? And maybe it even goes in the order that Walden says, okay, we have a motion, you know, the floor is yours. Do you have any comments about your motion? And then you clarify, a second is made based on that comment, and then we vote. Agree?
Yeah, I'd say put it on us so that we're not creating additional work for them to, because otherwise Andy's gonna have to sit there and figure out who made the motion and then what order, the batting order from there. It'll be,
No, but it slows things down for Andy, is that you make the motion, Andy's already written that one down. And then while he's writing that one down, we discuss. So it's not a quick motion second, and Andy's like, oh gosh, he made the motion.
did it.
Yeah,
Who's
that would be
who's
very
second?
nice to have a little
But
bit of a
it really
break
does give
between.
Andy, if we slow down that procedure, it gives Andy time to catch
I
up.
And then the deliberation is one of your things you should be doing. I heard it tonight, so it was really good, but that does help the staff. So I'm saying, well, I'm hearing we're not going to do that route, but we are going to make sure the person that made the motion speaks first and gives their reason. Is that right? All right. Mr. Lavender, the consensus builder. All right. Ethics policy. I don't think y'all run into it a lot. Well,
1 sec,
yeah.
on this action still, we still have those
Yes.
4 items. So are we leaving deny?
Yes.
That is still, like, because
I
these are.
can change it to recommend approve and recommend deny. I think that'll clarify what you're getting at.
Okay. Because you're just trying to close a loophole.
Yes.
In the law by doing this. And even though we might never say that I wanted to make a motion to deny, at least
So
if
it's
we did
really-
it wrong,
it's
you would
really
still
the-
close the loophole.
You'd still be you still are recommending denial. If y'all don't approve it,
This
you're-
is
yeah.
the action.
Yes.
So, but if we, okay. So it has nothing to do with making a motion.
action really
This isn't the
well, okay,
motions,
yeah.
this is.
It should say
The
recommend.
result is denial by failure.
Correct.
Right. So if
Yes.
somebody makes a
The
motion.
action is motion to approve, the result is denial by failure. because it
So,
didn't pass.
so what happened, okay, so then if we have an instance where we say, do I have a motion? And we all sit there and nobody makes a motion, nobody makes a second, then that's inaction.
Correct.
So what happens?
And we had a case apparently
In
where
which
this
case-
happened,
In which case, you said by South Carolina state law, that would be,
an automatic approval.
that'd be an automatic,
Again, we don't know if that's planning commission, council. Do you remember which case it was
that
that
doesn't
caused
do us
this?
any, well, so then these,
Yeah.
if we don't make okay, so then that's on us again.
That's on us.
We have to
One of us-
recognize
we-
that.
you either got to make up your mind whether you're going to vote for it or against it.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Not that we would ever do that, I'm just
Right.
I'm just
We've
curious.
had one where we don't make a motion. I mean, typically, we're just still in the business meeting. So, I
Right.
mean, our next move is a motion.
Yeah.
It's a motion to table.
And if you get to that, make a motion to remand it back to staff, say we don't have enough information to discuss this. That's taking action.
But I think if we do that, we need to come up with an items that we need staff to do, not just
Yes.
pawn it back on them. I mean, we need
Yeah.
to specifically say, all right, this is what I need for me to vote on it.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want it coming, you don't want any other item coming back in that same condition. And we definitely don't want the audience to go back and say, I came to this meeting,
Exactly.
Well, do we have to declare that, or can I remand back to staff and then talk to Heather and Andy and everybody tomorrow and say this is why?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
I mean, so it doesn't have to be really part of the public discussion of why I think it needs to go back to staff. I might just feel like moving on, and I don't think we have enough, and we'll talk about it later.
And so you would say that, basically, say,
Yeah.
I want to make this motion,
A
and then
motion to
in
remand
our,
back to staff.
and
We'll-
before
we'll
someone
talk
goes and makes
about
a
it tomorrow, if
seconding,
that's all right with
you
you.
would, yeah, say,
Okay.
this is why I'm saying
That works
that.
for me.
Okay.
Works for Heather. Works for Andy. All right. I want to make sure we close the loop on taking action.
No,
Because
so-
to your point, this is a big change, so.
Well, it's not a big change, because since, 94, this has been around, right? So the big change, I guess my point is that whatever we decide, you could put on here that, like, summon a dragon as an action. It doesn't matter. If we never make the motions,
Yeah.
then, and we just sit there and we move on to the next thing, we didn't do it, then it's an automatic approval.
And so where this came out of, I don't know the specific case, but y'all had wanted an applicant to be present to vote it on something, and they weren't.
Times.
Yes, and so technically under state law, it's automatically approved. Now, it didn't go that way, but it could have.
But we tabled it.
table.
tabled
So that was.
We tabled it, and then we picked it up like 15 minutes later when he showed up.
But no, there was
No, we tabled
there was
one
like
for
months,
like
that
3
months he
months in a
didn't
row.
show up.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that other one where the gentleman was
Table
late.
them.
He's like,
No, this is,
We tabled them before.
Yeah.
And when it
this 4 or
wasn't-
5
the
months in a
applicants
row,
wasn't
like
present.
he just didn't show
Okay.
up.
There've been some instances too where something was on the agenda and the applicant tried to take it off the agenda, and it really wasn't taken off in time to present a new agenda. So it was at the meeting, and staff said, hey, the applicant wants this removed, and I'm like, it's already part of the published agenda. It's really on our docket right now. It's not up to
Absolutely.
y'all to decide at that point because it was
correct.
approved as the agenda. So I think we did some talking there, and I don't remember what we did. We had an action, I guess it was to,
What project, do you remember what project?
it was in the last year.
Yeah, it was, and I think we had someone in attendance who wanted to speak at public hearing about that item, so we heard public hearing.
Yeah, so we opened it,
Yes.
but then we didn't have an applicant.
Yeah.
So did we, I don't remember what we did with it.
Voted to table it,
Did we?
yeah.
We've typically always tabled an agenda item if the applicant is not here.
so as long as we did that, then it's not an automatic approval.
I would disagree because tabling is not an official action, but
But going forward, we're not going to table.
but going forward, yeah.
If you want to table something, you need to do,
We will
continue to a
continue
date
to a certain
certain.
date, to a date certain.
Right, so.
We need to have these things printed right here. So we
Yeah, there you go.
our little 3 or 4
little action
motions.
cards.
Yeah.
I got some
continue to a
laminated
certain
for you.
date, it's with table minutes.
Yes.
Yes.
We just have to be intentional about when we're gonna bring it back.
Absolutely.
So a motion to continue to a certain date would be, we either decide at March planning or April planning, and then that puts
Yep.
the action back on staff to add it to the agenda to bring it back to us.
Absolutely. Ethics, the South Carolina Ethics Act and the City of Greer ethics policies do apply to y'all. When you start, you have some new training, so you probably may or may not remember it. It may have been a while for some of you. If you're ever unclear or uncertain if something might be an ethical violation or just kind of come close, let us know. We do have a contact at the ethics office, and we can reach out to them, or we can give you their contact, and you can as well. It's always good to err on the side of caution. I know Ashley's very good about that, so we'll just continue that practice. The other thing, and I don't, sometimes this happens and people are just unaware, is ex parte communication. So this is anytime y'all have kind of a conversation about the topics on the agenda outside this space. You just want to be careful about that. Especially say, if a council member is your friend, they come up, they want to talk about it, it's not okay. It's ex parte communication. Really, the whole point of that is you need to be having the conversations like y'all are tonight in front of the public, in a public forum. We've had a little bit of debate. We have some different perspectives on this, but discussion with the community members is allowed about cases. You're here to serve Greer residents. Discussion with applicants is legally allowed, but discouraged. That's where we're going to leave that. So you can talk to applicants about cases. It's discouraged. Kind of up to you how you want to approach that. But community members, absolutely okay. You're here to serve them. And that was was that from Mask or was that from Daniel? I can't remember. I think that was from Mask. So that's it, but the rules of procedure, it's like 26 pages. It's everything that we could cover. Not a whole lot of big changes other than maybe how we do public hearings and public comments. But tonight you can decide whether to vote on them or to continue it to the next one so you have some time to review. Or if there's some amendments, you want to make a motion with some amendments tonight, you're welcome to do that as well. But with that, it's up to y'all to discuss.
Did anybody take notes on everything we said?
I think
'Cause
maybe
remember now.
if there's any way we could maybe get those notes that you're taking, just so we can all see them and make sure we understand them.
Absolutely.
I don't think we did anything here, don't think everyone disagrees with, but I think just so we can see them, and unless we need to take action tonight.
You do not need to. It's been
We
since
don't.
1994,
Then
they haven't been
It's
adopted.
an automatic approval.
Well, I will ask that you continue it to a date certain.
We would like to,
Motion
do we have a
remand back to
motion?
staff for better notes and maybe red line or, I don't know, whatever you want to do with it.
Do we,
And also the other two members,
do we have
Right, that's true.
do we have a second?
a second what?
I'm sorry, was there a motion?
I didn't hear a
My
motion.
motion would be to remand back to staff with direction for maybe some red line copies, and it might be that we even can get those before the next meeting so that we can provide maybe group responses before we look at it again.
Will do.
I will second it with the condition that they are awesome notes.
Because we can still do conditions.
So in this case, would I start with you, Mr.
You would
Lavender?
start with me.
Okay.
No, we said we weren't going to do
We're
that.
not doing that.
Okay, we're not doing
That's
that.
not us.
I guess.
We just
I
have to
wasn't
be-
sure
yeah.
where we landed, if that was actually
thought
making
we
it
did
into
land.
the
Wait,
changes.
who's
or
taking
if that
notes
was
here?
Starting with
I
Judy.
thought we did land on that.
I thought we didn't. I thought we said that we
so
weren't going
that
to, we
was-
weren't going to create more work for them, but that we would just be better ourselves, that if you make a motion, that you would clarify what
Yes.
what your intent is.
That's what I have in my awesome notes.
Thank you.
I didn't see you write anything down.
Hey,
My awesome notes.
Can't read it, but he wrote some.
That's pretty
From like
awesome.
December 2018 or something.
So, I'm sorry, just to clarify, in that case, that is not going to wind up as an amendment to the rules of procedure. It will just be kind of common practice where if Mr. Lavender makes a motion to approve, the rest will
We'll see.
kind of hold off,
We're
then
gonna review
whoever
the motion.
seconds will
So for
second. and then we'll-
clarification, my motion would come with my discussion before a second.
Right.
And then once everyone on the commission understands the intent of my motion and the direction of my motion, then we will engage a second. And once we have a second, you just start at the end.
So we
because
need to
all-
be
because
very-
we all know what my motion is.
we need to be very cautious about the seconding.
Just not jumping on.
Yes.
Just
yeah, that's what
don't
I'm saying,
jump on
courteous.
seconding
Like,
something immediately.
Be courteous and not quick to second, so that you give, obviously, we're giving the table to whoever opens a motion.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second.
So,
Do
in
we have
that
a
case,
second?
we do have a second from Mr. Toma.
Yes.
And so, Ms. Jones.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Toma,
Yes.
Mr. Lavender,
Yes.
You were going to, you're supposed to reckon that. You should-
I reckon.
Missed opportunity.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passes. Contact staff for next. All right. Other business.
Okay.
Almost.
Thanks, you guys, for rolling with that. And Walden, if there's something we can do to make your script easier to read.
Yeah, I
I'd
probably
love
just
to
need to
hear
get
it,
used to it. I've been
'cause
used to the
I
other
saw
one.
you like glaring at it
Yeah.
at the beginning of the meeting, so.
Maybe if you could send it to me maybe before lunch or something.
Before,
Or
okay.
after lunch or close
We
to
can
it,
do that,
so I
we can
have
do
it.
that so you can run through it. So first of all, I did want to say a nice welcome to Lynn Mahaffey. If you guys haven't had a chance to meet her individually yet, please do so. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here. She's replacing Paul Lamb. So happy to have
Hey,
you.
you lucked out.
What's your stance on parking?
No, I was gonna say, you lucked out. Your first meeting and you learned how to be at a meeting. Because the rest of us
We're
didn't
still
get this. Yeah, the rest of us have been here for
Realize
quite
that.
some time and just got this instruction.
She does have some meeting experience. She's attended a lot of city council meetings. So I think she might be a sleeper, you know. She'll wake up in a little bit and roll in on you guys.
Sneaky.
But, yeah, obviously they're very outspoken, so when you're ready. All right, so my other note was a reminder that the planning commission meetings are early for the next 2 months due to scheduling issues with this room. So we are meeting March 9th and April 13th. And we do have an item for March 9th.
Which is 2
just
weeks from today.
to give you a heads up, yeah. Andy's already sent out the ad.
2 weeks.
So, yeah, it's coming up quick. I already sent events the meeting calendar for 2027, so hopefully we won't have this issue again. But I appreciate you guys being flexible.
March 9th, and then what's April?
April 13th.
April.
I never got the agenda and business presentation for today. I never found it. I looked in the email, Walden said he got it, and then
Yeah, I got it.
I looked, I never,
All right,
I
let me,
never
I'll
saw
double
it.
Never
check
got
the
the email?
email.
Never got the email. This is the first time I've seen anything or knew anything about the agenda was today.
Okay. I sent it out late on Thursday. It was posted online. I'm kind of thinking we might need to talk as a team. So, council has moved to subscribing to the agenda. So whenever the agenda is posted, they automatically get an email telling them to check it. So we might encourage you guys to do the same thing. I do apologize. The email went out late, and I'm sorry you didn't get it. So,
Right, yeah,
it was posted
if it went out
online.
late, it went out late, but I didn't get it. It didn't come into my inbox at all. so
Well, it came
I'll-
out, it came out like a week ago or whatever, because you had sent me the message and said, I'm sorry, I sent it to the wrong person, and
Yep.
you picked me
I
up like a
did.
day or something
I did.
afterwards.
Yeah, well, no, it was yeah,
On a Friday?
it was on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's structured because you're on a different system now. So our access is just
It's open.
basic
It's on the
access.
website.
There's no business agenda. There's no links to surveys and
Nope.
deeds and
It's all
everything
in
else.
there.
It's all
actually
online.
Easy to
It's
find.
actually easier
It's
now.
way
Yeah.
easier.
So if you just go to even the City of Greer website, you can find it under the meeting agenda. There's a drop down for the boards, and you can find Planning Commission there, and it's all on the
So the
calendar.
public's looking at the same thing we're looking at.
Are they, so the
Exactly.
public can see that it's a recommendation with your entire staff report?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We have the whole presentation on. There's none of the separate presentation
Okay.
things, so.
What sparked that change?
Part of
Opposed
the,
to a slimmed down
our
public agenda?
procedural update, it's,
New
it's
software.
definitely something we've wanted as staff for a long time. It's less confusion for the public. When you have,
opportunity with new software to do things different.
yeah, why would we not
Like
make it
spending
more?
money. New software.
Well, I think the software is, well, if you're,
There was a training session also that came out.
Yeah, was there a date that was agreed upon? Is there,
I have
mean,
no
it
idea.
looked
I
like there
just-
was 2 dates proposed for something that I guess had to do with this.
Yeah, it'll be coming out next week, I think, April 7th.
April 7th is the day that the majority voted.
Yeah, everybody except one, I think.
Oh, I didn't do either one because I didn't know what they was talking about. I saw
And then if
some
you want to
names
include, if you're talking about the subscription or whatever to the thing, if you want to
To the
include
thing, if you guys
instructions
wanna
on
do
that.
Yeah, I
then
can
maybe
send
just shoot that back out.
instructions, for you guys to do that.
April 7th is going to be our training day.
Or subscribing.
April, what?
When we're going to
Parliamentary
do
procedures.
this, except
New
with,
procedural, once these are, so the, I guess the idea there is that we've approved these new procedures at the next meeting? And then we get to talk about them and learn how to go through them?
See how Mass would approach it. There are a few things that maybe we didn't.
So do you want to approve them now?
So they're, okay. So they have different recommendations, but we're not,
It's mostly coordinated, there's one or two things that just sound very complicated and unnecessary bureaucratic.
so when we get to that, are you gonna like tell them, skip this, or we're not doing that, or they're none the wiser to, they're just doing their presentation. Their presentation is their presentation, and what we take of it is,
We're gonna send them your adopted rules of procedure and hope they amend it, and we'll see.
okay.
That would be my strategy.
That's all I got.
I was gonna study.
April 7th.
Well, we'll save it for 2 weeks from now.
PC,
All right. Is there any other business that needs to be conducted at tonight's meeting? Any other items to be discussed?
No further business?
no further business.
If none, tonight's meeting is complete.